You tell yourself you're protecting your peace, but if you're honest, your world has been getting smaller. Fewer conversations, fewer people, more silence. And without even noticing, you're slowly building a life with no one left in it. And at some point, peace starts to feel a lot like loneliness. So here's the real question. Are you actually protecting your peace, or slowly disconnecting from life? And before you answer that, there's something most people never realize about why their brain does this. It has nothing to do with the people around you. First, let's talk about the lie we've all been sold. Protect your peace. Cut people off. Don't tolerate anything that disturbs your energy. You've heard it 100 times, and sometimes that's exactly the right advice. If someone is abusive, manipulative, or constantly tearing you down, distance isn't just healthy, it's necessary. But that's not what most people are doing. They're not removing toxic people. They're removing all people. Not because everyone around them is harmful, but because interaction itself has started to feel like something they need to recover from. And if that sounds familiar, you already know how it starts. It starts with something small. Think about the last time a friend texted you something real, not a meme, not a link, something personal. Maybe they were going through a hard time. Maybe they just wanted to talk. You saw the message, you read it, you even felt something. But then, you put your phone down. Not because you didn't care, but because even the thought of forming a response felt like lifting something heavy. Like your brain looked at that message and said, I don't have the bandwidth for this right now. So you told yourself you'd reply later, but later never came. And the next day, the guilt made it even harder to respond. So you didn't. And slowly, without ever deciding to, you disappeared on someone who actually trusted you. And here's what's tricky. That wasn't cruelty. That wasn't even a conscious choice. It was your nervous system making a decision for you. Because by that point, you'd already started doing this with everyone. Canceling plans last minute, letting calls go to voicemail, giving short replies to end conversations faster. And each time, it felt like relief, like silence, like control. But over time, something else begins to happen. Your life gets quieter, not peaceful, just empty. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. You don't just need peace, you also need connection. And these two things often pull in opposite directions. Because connection is messy. People misunderstand you, they say the wrong things, they bring emotions you didn't ask for. They need things from you when you have nothing left to give. And your brain? Your brain prefers control, so it finds the easiest solution. Remove the noise. But in doing that, you also remove the warmth. You remove the 2 a.m. conversations that made you feel understood. You remove the people who would have shown up for you if you had let them. And you don't feel it right away. And you don't even notice it happening, because every single step felt like the right decision. Now here's where this gets deeper. And if you've ever wondered why this keeps happening, why you keep pulling away from people you actually care about, this is the part that explains it. Remember I said your brain has a reason for shutting people out, and it has nothing to do with them? Here it is. Psychology calls it emotional overload. Your brain has a limited capacity for processing emotions, yours and other people's. When you absorb too much, too many expectations, too many conflicts, too many demands on your attention, your system gets overwhelmed. And when that happens, your brain doesn't ask how to stay connected in a healthier way. It asks a much simpler question. How do I make this stop? This isn't just a theory. Psychologist Roy Baumeister studied something called ego depletion. He found that even normal social interaction drains the same mental energy you use to solve difficult problems. Managing how you present yourself, reading other people's emotions, choosing the right response. All of it costs energy. Your brain treats conversations like tasks, like problems to solve, like something that requires energy you don't have. So when you're already running on empty, every conversation, every text, every "how are you" becomes one more problem your brain has to solve. And that's when withdrawal stops being a choice. You're not choosing isolation. Your brain is choosing survival. Not because people are bad, but because you're tired. And no one ever taught you the difference between needing rest and needing to disappear. So what looks like protecting your peace is often just avoiding pressure. And avoidance feels like peace, but it's not the same thing. Peace is being calm in the presence of life. Avoidance is removing life so you can feel calm. And those are very different states. One is strength. The other is a slow disappearance that you've convinced yourself is self-care. So what do you actually do with this? You don't have to suddenly open the door to everyone. You don't have to force yourself into draining social situations and call it growth. But you also don't have to keep choosing silence as your only strategy. Start with something small. The next time someone reaches out and your first instinct is to ignore the message, don't force yourself to have a full conversation. Just be honest. Say, "I don't have the energy for a deep talk right now, but I didn't want to just disappear on you." That's it. One sentence. And it may sound simple, but think about what that one sentence actually does. It protects your energy without destroying trust. It tells the other person, "I still see you," without pretending you have more to give than you do. Because that's what real boundaries look like. Not walls, not silence, not vanishing. Real boundaries sound like honesty. I care about you, and I need space right now, and those two things can exist at the same time. Not every conflict means someone is toxic. Not every uncomfortable feeling means something is wrong. Sometimes it just means you're human, having a human reaction to a world that asks too much. You don't need fewer people. You need better filters. And better filters don't come from cutting people off. They come from learning which conversations to step into fully and which ones to hold at a distance without guilt. And here's the part no one tells you. The people you pushed away, they weren't the problem. They were just the closest thing your exhaustion could blame. And some of them, maybe the ones who mattered most, are still waiting. Not because they have to be, but because they saw something in you that you've been too overwhelmed to see in yourself. Don't make them wait forever. Protecting your peace should never cost you your life. If this shifted something in you, leave a comment. Not for me, for yourself. Sometimes putting it into words is the first step back. Because real peace isn't found in isolation. It's found in balance, where you can be around people without losing yourself. And the longer you call this peace, the harder it becomes to come back, even when you want to.